You can kill me, but you will never destroy me. It takes strength to resist the dark side.
Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one.
Are you kidding? Why the hell should I wait for you?
I know what it's like to try and rebuild a life. I had a bad day too, once.
If you're having nightmares, then welcome to the club. My name's Subaru Natsuki, and I am the Knight of Amelia.
Right now, all I can give you is just death.
It wasn't for you in particular.
You fought 100 men because it's not in your nature to run away.
If you are feeling disheartened, that you are somehow not enough, set your heart ablaze.
One of these days, I'm going to actually get around to making the new intro. I mean, I have a bunch of stuff for it already. I just, for whatever reason, have decided to postpone it. So I'll get to that eventually. So tonight, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, everyone listening to the usual weekend shenanigans that I get up to. And we are joined here by a somewhat regular guest, someone who I talk to decently often enough. RCS Rules, how you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing all right. I hope the same for you.
I'm doing about as all right as I can be. I posted a little while ago. I shot myself in the hand with a nail gun. It wasn't that well. That wasn't all that great. I was in the shower yesterday, and I realized it was worse than what I had thought. I had thought I got myself on like a side on trajectory. No, I actually missed the bone entirely and got it like all the way through the bottom of my finger and into my fingernail. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. Sorry to anyone who isn't a fan of like hearing weird stories like that. I need to demonstrate to people that when you're handling power tools, it can be rough.
Yeah.
So hello, chat. Muffler Tape, good to see you. I'm glad to see you hanging around. And Jeremy Turner, we're early tonight? Yes, we're early tonight. As per organizing this, we didn't quite know how tonight was going to go, whether RCS was going to be able to stick around for the whole time or not. So we started a little bit earlier, hoping that the time would work for him. And now he said that he has the whole night. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess we have the rest of our nights after this. But also not having to watch as much anime as previously helped, cut down on the time regardless. So that brings us to pretty much the main topic of the night. And I should have had this up already. I believe there we go. Yeah, okay. So how much anime are you watching this summer, dude?
33.
33? I'm not sure if I'm quite at that level yet, but I had 37 at the most when before I started dropping stuff. But that also included catching up on Bunny Girl Senpai, which I still have to watch a movie and get caught up on for, and watching Star Blazers for Fictionology. So
nice.
Just about the same. So I guess we can start at the top and sort of work our way down then, and that would begin us with Dandadan. So, how have you felt about Dandadan this season?
Dandadan just keeps getting better, I think. I mean, I'm not a manga reader, but that cliffhanger from last week kind of pissed me off more than the one at the end of season 1. I'm glad I didn't have to wait 6 months for that one, though.
What, with the table flip and then on it, like just episode ends?
I was just really?
As a manga reader, I knew that was going to be a short wrap because I was familiar with the gag. But yeah, I can understand it. This latest episode, though, as far as like an adaptation of the manga, this was a really, really like above and beyond adaptation of the Hayashi performance in the manga. Like, it was a couple of panels in the manga. They brought out the lead singer for Dragon Force for the English version of this. And they got a whole proper band together to do this entire performance. And it was great. And and I have already added the song to a lot of my playlists in both versions because in both versions it sounds good. It was just
Wow.
that. So that is why the episode tonight is Through the Fire and the Flames, is because the most impressive moment of the night for me was, or of the night of the week for me, was that particular episode. Just the entire, like the animation, the way they did all of it, the music performance to it, like they made a proper song for it and everything. There was like that was 110% effort for that one.
Yeah, I could tell that. I was not expecting that, and then I'm like, my girlfriend's like, "Who are these guys?" I'm like, "These got to be the what's the word? The people to seal Gigi and stuff, like get the spirit out of him." And that's
the Hayashi performers. If
Yeah.
I'm saying that correctly. Yeah, like the whole thing was great, and of course we end with the whole maid cafe thing.
that was, oh god, I like Donna a lot.
Our friends legitimately just dragged her crush across the entire city.
I'm loving it. I love it as much as season 1, honestly. So I just think it's great.
I've had a few minor gripes about this one over the course of the season. And there was a shot, I believe it was the last episode, where like the food in the pan was just PNGs that had been cut out and put into a dish. And then there were some less than ideal apologies. For some reason, I've had a cough for the last I don't know how many months, and it's just lingering. There were some less than ideally animated moments in like episode 4. But everything so far has been done really, really, really well. Like I have been thoroughly impressed with everything that they have done outside of those minor nitpicks. And I'm kind of looking for, I was hoping we would get to the kaiju arc in this one, but I don't know if we will because it seems like the pacing is a little bit strange. There's still some stuff that's going to happen. And there were a couple of things in here that I completely forgot were going to happen before we got to the kaiju arc. So I know we'll meet one character who's important to that. I don't know if we'll meet the other character who's important to that. They may just not have added them into any of the intro or promotional material or anything to just keep it like a complete surprise. So we'll leave it at that. Either way, Dandadan has been like my top spot for the season. I kind of expected that. They've done a bang up job with everything that they have done with this anime so far.
Yeah. I agree. It's not really much I can say about it. I just agree with you.
And then, of course, the next one on the list would be My Dress Up Darling. One of the most popular anime of the season. It's funny that like the two anime that are incredibly popular right now we have like a shonen battle anime and then a slice of life romance, like sort of ecchi series with My Dress Up Darling. And but they're both fantastic. So pacing still seems slow, but we will see where the season ends. Still hoping for kaiju fights. Yes, I'm still hoping for kaiju fights. Everyone's been asking who the heck Quinta is. I can't wait for everyone to meet Quinta because he's a character. He is a character. But moving along. So, My Dress Up Darling. Do you watch this one?
I do watch it, yeah.
All right. Good. I might have had to disown you. I might have had to stop being friends with you if you said no. So we're getting to the end of the school festival arc in this latest episode. And we have like the whole like Rei Sama performance that Kitagawa puts on. It's going to be interesting to see the dub of this since Amelie is actually like a good singer, to see how she does that whole performance there.
Yeah.
In this version, it didn't seem like they were trying to be like super like on key or anything. It was just sort of like a impromptu, like fun school performance sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I think the best parts of this, Gojo locking in, like as he's like doing all the makeup and stuff. I really liked that part.
Yeah.
As well as several of like the after school events that they do, like the photo bombing thing that happens and all that. This is another one that's just such a good series. I love this show.
I think I'm gonna probably have a bit of a hot take here. I like Dress Up Darling. It was my favorite anime when it came out, winter 2022 season. I loved it. I loved almost everything about it. I was so hyped for season 2. Not that I'm not hyped, but I think a lot of animes have come along this is what I hate about season 2s being so long in between their first season, is a lot of other animes come out. I get more attached to a lot of other shows, and I kind of slowly forget about other ones I started to like. I will keep watching Dress Up Darling because I still enjoy it, but I don't have that that flair that I did of season 1 back in when it was airing. But I am liking these like subtle hints of Gojo, opening up, their relationship between him and Marin, progressing. These just, students, man, like treating Gojo like an actual friend, an actual buddy. It's really cute to see that. I just feel like I don't hear many people talk about Dress Up Darling this season. So I think that's probably my 2 cents, is that I kind of agree that it shouldn't be talked about probably as much, but I still think that it's a good show. I just think it's a little bit weaker than season 1 right now.
I think there's a couple of things that play into this, and this is actually something I've been observing lately. I feel like there might have been some overhype factor to My Dress Up Darling season 2. I was a fan of the manga. I was really looking forward to it. And one of the things I've noticed about anime that like fandoms like really, really, really hype up. I'm looking at you, Lord of Mysteries. They almost never live up to the expectations, and the amount of fans getting too excited about a series can actually do some damage to it. It's nice to be passionate about things. But this is one of the reasons why I've shut up quite a bit about ReZero season 4. Is because I don't want people to start to think that it is greater than what it is, and that's going to ruin the impression of it. Part of that is what's happening here with My Dress Up Darling. I think is you're not a manga reader for this, are you?
No, I'm not. I've also heard before you begin, I've also heard that the progression towards the romance is pretty slow. I don't know if that's true. Yeah.
It is. I have 12 volumes of the 15 on my shelf over there, and it's pretty slow. I mean, Marin's the one who immediately is like, oh, OMG, I love him, and it takes Gojo a very, very long time to come around. Yeah. But
is there 15 volumes?
The final volume is 15 from what I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah. So from everything that I have seen in the show, I got into it. I continued reading it. I enjoyed it. One of the things that I forgot kind of where I was going to go with this, man.
Sorry.
It's all right. I derail myself. Chat derails me. They know.
Was it about the romance with Gojo, Marin? Gojo's a lot slower.
No, it's more particularly to do a bit with the overhype thing. I think a lot of people built this up to be bigger in their mind than what it actually was. For me, I still love it because I had been consistently reading the manga as the volumes have come out. So I didn't really have a lot of issue with that. I feel like some people though have kind of suffered from that same thing. Where everyone's talking about, oh, this is going to be great. Oh, this is going to be great. I'm so excited. And everyone builds up this huge impression. And it's not quite what you would expect. There's also the thing that you're returning for a second round of something really good versus discovering something really good for the first time. It's a completely different experience when you stumble upon the first season of a really, really good anime.
Yeah.
And then you wait years for that really, really good anime to get a really, really good season 2. It's just going to be different because your first time through it is this is incredible. I don't really think you're ever going to match that first high. That's the unfortunate reality of it.
Yeah, I think the words you're saying is literally literally how I feel. I know I kind of word vomit a lot and I go on different tangents, but no, I think you said it perfectly how I feel.
To answer Bunny Brittany's question here, I feel like statement here. I feel like Gojo fell for her this episode. I think he did develop feelings for her early on, but he's not really like comprehending what he feels for her for a very, very long time in the manga. Like it takes him a while to actually come to that realization, and then it's kind of like a crisis moment for him because he feels like I'll stop myself there. I won't spoil anything, but it's good the way they do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on down the list. Are you watching Clevitas?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
This is personally one of my favorite anime of the season. I mean, obvious because it's number 3 right now.
A lot of people have been saying good things about it.
This is one that I feel like has, for everything that I've seen, flown fairly under the radar. But like it's got solid animation, a really good art style, and a lot of good concepts. So like if you're a fan of like darker fantasy anime, this is a good pick. It's not very combat oriented, so while it does have action and stuff, a lot of it is more so focused on like the story of this monster basically who takes an interest in humanity and decides to pretend to be a human for a while to see what humans are like.
Yeah.
So in this latest episode, we basically have our monster, Clevitas, decides to go off on his own mission for a period of time, leaving Alicia to take care of Nellaru and Luna. And that goes about how you would expect it to go with most stories. You know, the main character leaves, of course things are going to go sideways. That's how it always goes.
Yeah.
But with this one of the big points that I do want to praise it on is it picks a very interesting time in like the sword and sorcery sort of setting to start its story. And they're just discovering magic. So like they're in the early stages of developing magic as a technology in this world. So it kind of presents an interesting thing where like, sure, they have like certain like magic blades and there are people who have like special powers and stuff. But those are like very few and far between, and wizards are like a completely new thing, even on like the battlefield. So
yeah,
it's a cool show. I personally really like it. I think this latest episode was good. We got a little bit more of the like cool animation and stuff that comes from this show, but this one is really one you would watch for like a good story, one that may delve into the nature of humanity a little bit for that.
Interesting.
So I got some comments on my Dress Up Darling here. Gojo has to learn how to love himself. That's really the overarching theme of the story. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is pretty much one of the big points of My Dress Up Darling is the fact that you shouldn't be ashamed of the things that you enjoy, you know?
Interesting. And by the way, I've been wanting to go back to Clevitas. I didn't like officially drop it. I've just heard so many people talk about, but Wednesday is like a very stacked day for me with animes. So I watched the first episode and kind of just forgot about it.
I think there's like Clevitas and one other anime that I watch on Wednesdays.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, now you telling me that makes me I'll see what it's about then.
Yeah, most of the anime that I actually picked up come out over the weekend. So like I spent a good chunk of like Thursday, Friday, Saturday watching anime just to keep
Interesting.
up. Sword of the Demon Hunter returned this season, late this season for some reason. Have you seen anything of this one?
I kind of dropped it after Core 1. I know you love this show though.
This is another one that is its animation honestly is not as good as it could be. But I love the storytelling of this one. And I think this latest episode is a pretty damn good one because we get a really interesting thing with like our main character being tested by like you have like the classic sort of like challenge of like you have the guy who has done nothing but pursue strength. He has cast aside everything else. And then you have your main character who is still clinging on to, the human parts of him and everything. And oh, well, that makes you weak. Yes, but I will still continue to hang on to them because they're important things to me. They had an interesting message with that concept in this episode. I really liked the way that they handled that whole duel, especially with Genia being like, well, my swordsmanship can still hold up, even though I didn't win this fight. And then, of course, we do have the implications of like, what exactly is Genia doing now in the future? Because we do get a couple of shots of him in the convenience store with the guy that he fought in that scene. And there are a couple of other people who, make mention of knowing Genia for hundreds of years. So there are some other questions and stuff in there, but it was a really good episode, one that I enjoyed because it may leave some interesting implications out there that haven't quite been confirmed. And that's one of the things that like I do like about a story is when it'll tell you it'll like give you a bunch of information and like it's enough to start like piecing things together yourself, but not enough to see the full picture yet. There's a good balance there, and like holding information that will, fully reveal everything to people while not also leaving them completely confused as to what they just watched.
Yeah.
All right. I guess if we want, I don't think we've talked about there isn't an episode of Taco P's Original sitting out, but it is one of the biggest anime out this season, so I figured it's probably worth talking about. You've seen this one, right?
Yeah, I completed it.
Yeah. What did you think of it?
So I think I watched your video on it last week or this week when it released. And I think I had pretty similar feelings to you when you were comparing other YouTubers about it. I love the show.
I only specifically said Nicholas Light because he was the one who got all of the controversy. And then of course he like, not to get too into it, I'll let you go here in a second, but like he then later had another post about saying like he was perfectly justified in telling a guy to kill himself for dropping spoilers in his chat. I'm just like, what is your obsession with killing people, dude?
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's why I'm not much on Twitter anymore. At least reaching out to people or commenting because I did that all last year when I was on Twitter a lot. So I'm good, but I liked it. I was not expecting to get through this show, honestly. Just heard a lot of things. And I think after either episode 1 or 2, I was like very sold on the show. And then I went to go read the manga. So I knew that episode 5 was going to be a big one. I thought people were going to kind of hate or have mixed feelings on episode 6. I agree with you that I don't think any child deserves to die. I think the whole parents thing is kind of the problem of how they were raising these kids. I just don't think I'm glad. I don't think that Marina or Shizuka, should have died no matter who's in the wrong. It's just, it's a story to make you think. Like, and have great conversations with people, not to say, hey, I hate you for disagreeing with me. Like, I feel like that's the point of the show, is to be like, this is some uncomfortable territory to explore and talk about with others. But hey, I respect whatever you're saying. It's supposed to create conversation to make you be like, did you see my point? Did you see, their point?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those that does a really good job of like threading the needle with a complex subject. In the show, like I said in the video, it doesn't really do anything to like take a side one way or the other, because like it shows that both sides have their issue. Like Shizuka ends up being, almost just as bad as Marina to some extent. In like the way that they behave. Like there are some people in here who just, do some really reprehensible stuff, but the real evil of it all is effectively the parents who, whether through a neglect or abuse, mistreat their children and leave them in this position to where they feel desperate to the point of absolutely abusing one of their classmates, to killing one of their classmates, to helping cover up someone's death and all that. Like the moral of it all is don't be a shitty parent would be the best way of saying it.
Yeah.
Like the kids need some help, and you can't just abandon them or expect them force all of this bullshit on them because they're kids. You're going to screw them up for life if you do stuff like that. And there is the Taco P element of it that Kyodantes here has saying, fuck that octopus. Yeah, well, his naivete does not help the situation. It spirals it out of control.
Yeah.
It's a really well done show, one that I would actually qualify as like a masterpiece. It's a really good work of art, but I don't think it's one much like Grave of the Fireflies. It's not one that you want to sit down and watch over and over and over again. You may occasionally return to it just because it's a really good piece of art, but it's not exactly a heartwarming experience.
Yeah, I think I gave it a 9 out of 10. Yeah. Did you give it a masterpiece ranking?
I think I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
And again, as far as Taco P's original sin, everything was done so well with that anime. The soundtrack, the voice.
Oh, they
acting,
added
animation.
a lot of. Yeah, they added some scenes. If I don't know if you read the manga or not, but they added some scenes to flesh out a lot of things that I think could have been explored more. Like when Takapi went back to its planet, that was all original. Trying to remember the last 2 episodes added a lot of things, like with the dad in episode 5. And then I believe they added a lot more when Marina and Shizuka, I think, were talking to each other more, which was great. I'm glad they added more scenes like that.
What, like at the very end where they're in the shop together? A pen in the shape of a rabbit from Saturn.
Yeah.
So that Takapi's original sin, really good anime, even if it's kind of a brutal experience. Secrets of the Silent Witch. You familiar with this one?
I am. Am I caught up? No.
Did you drop it?
I'm in this on hold stage with it. It kind of annoys me, but it's also very beautiful, the art, the animation,
I really like a lot of things about this series. I have my video up, so I will not get too deep into it. But this latest episode is effectively a Monica can't dance episode.
Oh my god, sorry.
There's a whole lot of dance lessons and everything, and it basically ends with the prince kind of flirting with her and everything, and she just completely brushes it off, she doesn't know what's going on. He's trying to help her learn to dance so that she can pass her classes and everything, and she's just thinking about the reflectivity of your brooch there helped me dance. And he's like, I was able to shut all of the useless things out. And he just kind of looks at her was conversing with me one of those useless things?
Now I see why people put that Fern and Stark photo up on Twitter along with other dancing images.
Yeah, so it's a good show. It may just be one of those things that it's my taste in fiction, but I do like a lot of the things that it has done. Particularly, I find Monica to be a very endearing character, and that's most of the reason why I watch. I think she's a very good main character for this show. Otherwise, it does have a lot of generic elements to it. There isn't a whole lot that is super special, but it is cared for by the people who are working with it. The music's good. The voice acting is good. I wouldn't watch the dub for this because the English dub for Monica does not sound right.
She's
I don't hate her. I don't
she's,
hate her as a voice actor, by the way. I do not think she's a bad voice actor. She's just the wrong voice actor for the role.
She's the main character in the new Pokemon series. The dub.
But yeah, we do have a bit of a Silent Witch fangirl in this episode as well. And Monica gets sort of like freaked out that maybe she might get discovered. But this is another good one that I have really, really liked this season. And since you haven't watched much of it, I will move on from there. Hey, that's the second person to come into my chat and call her Bochi the Witch. Anyway, Gachiakuta. You familiar with Gachiakuta enough to talk about that one?
Yeah, I am.
All right. I love this series so much. Like I was a fan of the manga. I've read a bit of it, not a lot of it. And we're about at the point where I need to start reading more manga to get ahead of where the anime is going. So I like the crazy redhead that they introduced in this latest episode.
That was a good episode, yeah.
She's a great character. I like her in the manga. I like her even more in this. We also get the glasses girl at the reception. Senmu, I forget her name. Senmu.
I don't read the manga, so I don't know.
I forget what the black lady with the glasses who like evaluates people.
Let me see if maybe I could look it up and see.
So there was a lot of good.
Yeah, you're right.
Stuff. In particular, they upped the animation game for this episode with the fight against the giant trash beast. Like they were using a lot of CGI up to that point, and then they did like the whole team just decided to lock in for that. And I really appreciate it because I thought it was a really good moment for this show. Feels like a side story for a Borderlands game, but I'm enjoying the show. I don't get the hype. It's good though. I really liked it. I like the way that it sets up this whole thing, and particularly with Rudo. One of the things that really, really annoys me is you get like a young protagonist who is just like super hot-headed and doesn't want to work with everyone. He's super stubborn and all that, and is constantly like, I don't need to learn from you. I know what I'm doing. I don't need to learn from you. I know what I'm doing, and constantly getting his ass kicked and everything. That's one of the things I like about the way Rudo is written, is the fact that he's actually able to recognize that if he plays nice with everyone around him, he'll get farther in this world than if he doesn't. So even though he is a bit of a hot-headed prick at times, he's able to rein it in enough to where he can get along with the rest of the cleaners.
Yeah, Gachiakuta and Toganaki literally doing the same thing every episode. The main character growing, they lashed out, because they want what they want. I just feel a lot of similarities to that, which I think is interesting when I go into this point. I hated Toganaki when it first started, and I loved Gachiakuta when it first started. Now I think the roles are getting reversed. Not saying I hate Gachiakuta. I just think my hype for it, just like Mixes was saying, is a little bit more down than at the Revenge first episode. But this will definitely be like a full season watch for me. I enjoyed the new episode of the red hair girl fighting. Yeah, with the scissors. That was so cool. I'm excited to learn more about the cleaners and these new characters, and to explore Rudo going down, this path of, hey, I'll get what I want. Like you were saying, just, I gotta listen to what they're doing. And that cliffhanger, man, with, it looks like the boss is in that territory with the dude he beat up in episode 2. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know if that's their boss or if that's just another giver who happens to want to get his hands on a spherite, but
yeah,
It's a good show. I think it's done a good job of pacing itself. That's one of the things I really do like. It's not really explored any of like the main body of the story yet. It's still kind of like getting you used to it. But so far, it's done it in a way that has introduced you to characters that you actually like, that has gotten you a little bit into the world in like a enjoyable way, especially with episode 4 here, where you're getting fights. And it also has done a good job of setting up the main character's impetus to, go back and take revenge. So he has a motivation now for the story. He has powers, and he has people who he can work with that I think a lot of people will end up, actually liking his characters. What its plot will be, I don't know, because I actually haven't read that far into it. I don't know like what it's actually going to be centered around, because like with something like Togen Anki, since you mentioned it, you can pretty much gather where it's going to go, like what the main body of the plot is going to be like within the first episode or two. You're basically going to have Oni fighting Momotaros.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward. With this, it doesn't really give you a clear idea as to what's going on, and I almost like that more, because it feels like there's going to be a whole lot more depth to it. Let's see. To be honest, I find the above world more interesting than the Apocalypse Hellscape. Interesting. I like Gachi Yakuta. Binged last night with a friend, and I wanted to read the manga some as a result so far. Mission accomplished. The childhood friend scene when he got tossed seemed really out of place. Was my only complaint so far. I think that from what I've seen a few like manga panels and stuff, that's gonna loop around to some of Rudo's own personal conflicts in the future.
Interesting.
And I think that's kind of to set up the fact that, like, they're really trying to drive home this idea of like how everyone in the sphere sort of saw Rudo. Even like the nicest people who were like almost always who were always on his side still were only there like hanging on by a thread. It's kind of like just a sad detachment from the world that you knew. The only two people who were like on your side were either killed or, turned their back on you when things got tough.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is true. She's for the streets. She just turned her back on that man. Like, she's for the streets.
But yeah, you are right about the whole Gachi Yakuta thing with not knowing where it's going, because I think that's kind of why I'm a little less interested right now. Maybe, I am a little bit of a shonen tard and kind of want my satisfaction like this, but to an extent, but I'm just like I'm curious if this is going to get a lot of hype, or if it's going to end up something like Fire Force, where people talked about it, but even if it's the only shonen air in that season, like Fire Force was last season, people didn't really talk about it.
Fire Force, I feel like also struggled with like an entire studio turnover. And also was never really seen as like a huge, amazing story to begin with. It was mostly viewed for its good animation.
Yeah.
And when the studio turned over and all of the animators who made it a thing left, they kind of suffered. But yeah, with Gachi Yakuta, I don't mind not knowing where the story is going. I just want to feel like there is a coherent path from one episode to the next. Like they're all tracking together. And Gachi Yakuta accomplishes that. You don't need to tell me exactly where the story is going to go. Like with something like Mushoku Tensei, I don't know where the story is going to go, but I know that it's headed somewhere because it has a very clear direction. There are very clear story beats within it that like all sort of align and give you a coherent story. And I will spare my my flaming of a certain series for when we actually get there later. Okay. The fragrant flower blooms with dignity. Have you watched this one?
Oh, absolutely, man. I love this show. I think it's probably my favorite non-sequel anime airing this season. I'd probably say that's a fact. Yeah, I think it's my favorite. I'm a big romance guy. I think I've told you this on your channel before. I think what really impresses me about this show, and it may be the same as you, is I love his mom. I love that she's a wing woman to him, man. They communicate to each other about any problems that they have. It's just such a breath of fresh air.
It's a good family dynamic, and this is something that I can actually like relate to because I have a really good relationship with my mom. I've actually watched quite a bit of anime with my mom. I showed her Love is
Me
War
too.
and Jujutsu Kaisen and a bunch of Shinkai films. So
Yeah, I love it. I don't think I have really any complaints about the show. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece, but it's probably a good 9 out of 10 to me. I love it. I love the dude. I love the whole thing of like in the new episode. Have you seen the new episode?
oh yeah, I'm
Okay.
completely up to date on this one.
I like that he talked to Subaru. I like
Mhm.
that, he like that was so nice, like of him to do that. I like that they explored Subaru and her backstory and why she felt this way. I like that Wagari was like, it's okay, I love you for who you are. And like it just feels like a very breath of fresh air friendship. Like, like there's not much drama that, and if there is, like, like it's necessary, kind of.
Well,
And
it's also done with a in a very positive light. The drama, like this whole
Exactly.
thing with like Subaru and Karuko, is framed in a way where like Karuko comes at it like, oh well, I know you cared about me and you did that because you only want what's best for me.
yeah.
There's a lot of things like that make it a really good. I would give it like an 8 out of 10 personally. I think it's a very satisfying show for a lot of reasons, and it does a lot of things that help it stand out, particularly with they have not beat around the bush with the fact that Karuko likes Rintaro. Like we're
Yeah.
what 4 or 5 episodes in now, and she's like, yeah, I like him. I love him. And he
Yeah.
is like, I don't know, kind of on his way there too. But they do a lot of the drama stuff really well. They frame it in a way that actually helps the series. It's not detrimental. It isn't obnoxious to get like some like ridiculous love triangle or anything. And a lot of it is resolved in a very positive manner. 6 episodes. Nice. Okay. I was wrong. 6 episodes. I
Yeah.
kind of forget because some of these are like 6, some of them are like 5, some of
And
them
then
are.
you've got Kaiju at 4.
Mhm. Yeah, it's weird. So like I tried to pick about the middle of the season to like have like a guest on or something to talk about anime. It's always like, all right, well we're getting there. We're close enough. I never know exactly when the middle of the season is.
I know, we got like 6 weeks to One Punch Man with no
Mhm.
director.
With no announcements whatsoever outside of it's a thing. But yeah, like
There in
this is
October.
another one where I think there probably should be more conversation about the Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity because it just does so many things well. I wouldn't say it gets up there to like the perfect, like the quintessential romance or anything, but it does a lot of things very well. Animation, character work, storytelling, just like the general romance beats that are happening throughout it. It's a good comfort series so far. In 6 episodes, it's been a really, really good comfort series. Because you can go to it knowing that thus far you're not going to have anything like too overly drama laden. So
Yeah.
this is one where like I don't know, maybe given a little bit more like something to like my sense of humor, I'd probably rank it higher on the list, but it's a must watch for me regardless because I think it's just a great show.
It's what's crazy is that we've talked about Donadon, Dress Up Darling, Gachi Agata, Friggin' Flower, right? And is it just meme? Maybe I'm not on Twitter much, but the only anime I've like seen talk about is Takapi.
I've seen discussion of various anime. I think part of it is the algorithm. Because I'm friends with Biggles, who is a huge Kaiju number 8 fan, I get Kaiju number 8 stuff on my feed.
Interesting.
I also see a few posts every now and then of the summer Hikaru died. Don gets posted on my feed a lot. Same with My Dress Up Darling. I don't see much of Clevites. The Silent Witch, I do. But Taco P was the big one because Taco P was the one that had the biggest controversies. It was the one that generated
Makes
the
sense.
most buzz on the internet. I mean,
Wow, not
you had-
Dawn.
well, Don was aided last season by a bunch of fuckery on all ends. I mean, you had people using it as an excuse to be racist, people using it as an excuse to be retarded, people using it as an excuse to hate on chibi reviews. Yeah, there was everyone in that situation. It was fucking stupid. That it was a maelstrom of all of the worst things that you could get out of a fandom interaction.
Yeah.
Okay. People use it as an excuse to be. Come on, Pilgrim. Come on. Not now. I'm supposed to look like the, oh, God, stop it. Chill, boy, chill. Okay, Witch Watch. This is one where, like, I don't know. I feel like it can have like a few like episodes that are like hit or miss. But when it actually has a good episode, it has a really good episode.
Yeah.
Like, I actually really loved this latest episode. I'm glad that they brought the friend from like the first couple of episodes in. Like, she now has her own power or whatever with
Yeah.
the Shikigami. Like, I thought that was great. The whole marbles thing. the marbles gag and the whole manga, like, those two gags were really, really well done, to be entirely honest. Just like the whole obsession with like, oh, we got all these rare marbles, and like, oops, I made it up. I made it all up.
Same opinion, man. Those two segments were great. When she goes like, "Oh my God, Shiki just died." Wait, you're alive. The water took you away.
Oh yeah, I made you out of weatherproof paper. That makes sense.
Or, dude, even last week's episode with the escape room or whatever, or the board game. So dumb.
It I won't say it's like the greatest thing out there, because like I said, there are some hit or miss episodes. They had that whole episode about like Zoct Bell or whatever that thing was, where like they had like the lion dude get abducted by a bunch of monsters. It's just the teacher and the student being like Fujoshi and like obsessing over like this relationship between these two dudes. I didn't really. There are some like genuinely like pretty meh episodes. And I know there are some people who are out there like, oh, it doesn't have Nemu in it, therefore I'm not going to watch the episode. But I like it. I get a good kick out of it. Its comedy isn't always the most amazing, but I have liked its characters. Its fights aren't really like super amazing, but it is kind of a comedy anime anyway, so I'm gonna excuse that.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a certain fantasy adventure anime that was supposed to be very heavily focused on like shonen style fights and adventures and stuff that just, got turned into a PowerPoint. And I wonder what we could be talking about there. I wonder what could be going on there, I got to use Witch Watch as a cautionary tale for my kids about YouTube experts. Yeah. Don't just take everything that I say. Wait, no, actually, you should take everything I say as gospel. Everything I say is correct. I have no wrong opinions, okay? You should always come to me for advice when it comes to anime in particular.
And forgive your sins. And forgive our sins.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. We'll get to the sinful ones later. Have you watched Nukitashi? Okay, good. I'm not the only degenerate here. All right.
And I fucking love it.
It's something else.
Oh my God.
All right, that kind of brings us to Kaiju number 8. And honestly, this is going to be like the first one that I'm actually moving tonight because I wasn't a huge fan of its latest episode.
No fucking way. No fucking
I'm not shitting. I thought the last episode was better than this one.
I think Kaiju number 8's episodes up until today's episode were kind of mid. Thought they were okay. Thought they were, good. I think today's episode was probably its best episode of this season.
I don't know. It was one that I was like, I don't know. The manga version of this had felt so much more epic when I read it. I was kind of let down by it all. Like, it's not in and of itself a bad episode. Like, just generically, it's a good episode. Okay. But I liked last week's episode because I thought the way that they did everything with Kafka at the end of that last episode, that's probably the best point of the season, if you ask me so far. Everything else has been kind of I've never been a huge fan of Kaiju number 8 anyway. I always thought it was like a good action series, but I don't know, not like a super enthralling story.
Yeah.
Crimson just put up the Biggles signal. Biggles bait. Oh, dude, we got into a huge argument over the ending of Kaiju number 8 on one of our other shows.
Yeah, I saw how it ended.
we were fucking screaming at each other. Anyway,
was that last week on his channel?
I think it was Monday on his channel.
Oh, I gotta see that.
Yeah, well, me and the other host have been ribbing him all repeatedly over Kaiju number 8.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, as far as storytelling goes, there are a lot of cool beats that are in this. I just feel like the directing didn't live up to the same stuff that Kafka got in the last episode. That is pretty much where it kind of falls short for me. Kafka's whole fight against Kaiju number 9, once he actually gets his Kaiju powers to work, was fantastic in the last episode. In this one, I felt like the manga had a better portrayal of all of that action, which is weird because it's static. It's just panels. It was it's not a terrible thing, okay? It just comes down to taste. And this one, I watched the episode and I sat there and was like, okay, yeah, that was cool. I knew it was coming, so it's not like a huge shock or anything to me. I guess that's probably a part of it too. But I don't know. This wasn't for me, and obviously you disagree. So
okay, well, I don't disagree with the fact that I think this season has been kind of worse than the first season. Like I put in chat, season 2's just not really doing much for me. I mean, we're just kind of in this little like I thought that the war ended at this episode or the battle that they were doing, and it's just we're still going. I mean, this Kaiju number 9 stuff's still happening. How long are we gonna be here for? Is it this the rest of the series? Is he just gonna keep spawning? Is they're gonna war drop more of the Kaiju weapons and the numbers and stuff like that? I'm genuinely confused. Unlike Gachi Agata, I'm very confused where this is going. Are we just in battle until it ends? Does Kafka just continue to get stronger? I mean, clearly number 9's the main antagonist of the series, it looks like. So, I mean, his Kaiju number 9's goal is just resurrect all these Kaiju and stuff like that. I genuinely have no idea where this is to go. What's the goal now?
Kaiju number 9 is the roach of this series if comparing it to Space Battleship Yamato. Kaiju number 9 is just Albrecht Dessler from he just won't die. No, so a little bit of structure spoilers. Basically, we're gonna have this Kaiju number 9 thing here, and then there's gonna be a lull. And from what I understand, there's a bit of a training arc that they're gonna go through for probably the rest of the season. And then there is the final war, basically. So you'll probably see the end of Kaiju number 8 in I don't know, another 2 or 3 seasons if they continue at this pace. As far as this one goes, but this is another one where I don't know. I was never a huge fan of Kafka, so I couldn't get into Kaiju number 8 as much as a lot of other people did. I thought it was a good series. It's a good shonen. Just pure action, Like, it's got some cool concepts to work with. And that's one of the reasons I like it. It's just Kafka never resonated with me because it felt like every time they would give him like a good moment, like he'd do something cool, it would immediately go and humiliate him right after.
Yeah, and I saw that too. With what you're mentioning. What I was also gonna say about the new episode for Kaiju is that I'm just not hyped. Like, you know, like I thought the newest episode of the fight, the battles was really cool. I actually kind of got me on the edge of my seat. Like, wow, is he actually gonna die? Like, you know, and everything. Like, I was really like, I was like, this is crazy. Like, you know, like I didn't feel this emotion at all this season. I felt very like it was very mid. You know, like I don't feel any emotional attachment that I did to season 1. I kind of compared to Dress of Dog season 2 that I felt like people kind of hyped Kaiju season 2 up, and I'm kind of feeling a little like not much is really happening, you know, like you know. But no, I don't disagree with you. I just thought that the newest episode kind of had a more initial reaction and spark out of me than the previous ones. But I can see where everyone in the chat, along with you, is saying that Kaiju's kind of not doing well this season.
One of the big things that I've always struggled with Kaiju number 8 is it never really like sold me on its characters. And that's one of the big things like I didn't care about with this latest episode is it's effectively the death of a character that I don't really have much attachment to. It's like the difference between like the death of like in Naruto where you have the death of Jiraiya. That's a character that like you're genuinely attached to. Like you've watched this character for dozens of episodes over the course of, I don't know, a few, like hundreds throughout the series. He's been a major part of everything that has happened. And all of a sudden, you know, he gets killed in combat. It's a really big moment. This one, it's just the director who, you know, had like one fight against Kafka and some flashbacks to the family. Naruto spoilers, OMG.
I didn't watch the final episode.
That's not the final episode. You don't gotta worry about it anyway. It's one of those things where like it really could have done a little bit better with some it could have done better with some good characterization or at least some attachment to the characters it decides to kill off, but it almost feels like it was just throwing away the characters that wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
If you like it for action, good on you. It's good action. It's got a lot of good concepts, but the story is very bare bones. Okay, so because I have to have a harem romance every season, I have been watching Dealing with the Mikadono Sisters as a breeze, and I fucking love this show. Have you watched this one? Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, I'm all caught up.
What do you think of it?
So during my first initial impressions that I did on my channel, I think like 3-4 weeks ago, I hated it. I hated this show. I did not like it. My girlfriend, for some reason, loved it. Like, I mean, I was like, what? Like, you hate, like, she's not a big Amagami fan. She's like, she doesn't like this stuff, which I get. So I'm like, why do you like this? Like, I was so confused. And I think it was episode 3 and I started understanding the family message, you know, behind it. Oh, it's about family. You know, he's just this nice guy, you know, he's kind of funny, you know, and everything. Just trying to help these 3 sisters.
He's a little fucking troll is what he is, and it's great.
And I started watching, I think it was episode 3 or 4 that I started changing my mind about it. And I'm like, I like this. Like, I actually like, I see where people are like, why people like it now. Like, just took me a delayed reaction for me to fully understand why people like it. No, I like this show. I love this show now a lot. The date episode. Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah, this latest episode was really, I liked the whole the date thing, especially with like the sister stalking him the whole time.
Yeah, oh, that was awesome.
But this is one where like I immediately liked it, but in a couple of episodes I loved it. I thought it was really good. And it was one that I figured was just going to be like my throwaway, haha, Crimson likes this because he, enjoys these sorts of romance manga / anime. And it turned out to be something much better, specifically. Sorry, Marcel.
You can blame me.
I should have made an announcement, to be entirely honest. I forgot to. So that's actually on me because I figured something like this would happen and that I should be a little bit more careful with my times and stuff. But I forgot to mention it. So you can blame me. We started an hour early.
Crimson, you can blame me. I won't take it to offense.
Anyway, this is one where I actually like all of the girls in here, but I still think Nico is my favorite.
Oh, absolutely. She's my favorite too.
If I had to rank them, honestly, it would be Nico and then Miwa and then Kazuki. Just because I feel like the other two are much more entertaining characters than Kazuki. But Nico is definitely my favorite. And it's one where the family message is really what sold me on this. Is this whole thing is focused on this one guy who devoid of talent. The only thing he wants is just a good family life. He wants to, live up to his mother's wish for him. And at first I thought the dad was going to be this sort of aloof character who is oh, well, I'm so busy. I can't really be there for my daughters. But no, it turns out that he's just an asshole. And I'm still debating whether it's going to be one of those things where he's just playing the part to try and, make you to for some tough love or something, or if he's really just so goals oriented that he doesn't actually care about any of his children.
It reminded me of the quintuplets father. I don't know if anyone else got that vibe of it, but that was my first impressions when I saw the father.
I'm not as familiar. I didn't watch the end of the quintessential quintuplets. I basically found out who the winner was, and then I was like, all right.
You broke your laptop from throwing in, and
I was like, it wasn't Miku. Fuck this. Yeah. I don't hate Yotsuba, okay? I don't hate Yotsuba. I really like this show because I feel like it's done well with its animation. It's also done something that I think a lot of shows need to do more. And not just making they have a quote unquote useless or talentless character in here, right? The guy who can't do anything right, he's constantly failing, but he doesn't turn into some gloomy, always downcast character. He's very upbeat, he's very positive, and with every time he runs into a roadblock, he is immediately all right, pick myself up, get moving, let's find a new way around this, we'll keep going at it. And I honestly respect that more than just the character who's sitting there hunched over, moping about over his life and has to get picked up by all the girls. No, he's a good main character for this because not only is he very active and positive and active, he's also a bit of a troll at times, especially when he's trying to get the girls to eat with him at the table. How he's sitting there licking pretending to lick the spoon and everything.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good things. It's got a good dose of humor. I like the characters involved in it. The message is solid. Animation is good for what this show is. I don't think you can go wrong watching it.
Yeah. Don't listen to my first impressions me about it. You know?
Well, that's the thing is that's why I've tried to start waiting a couple weeks and letting the anime roll a little bit before I give my full impression now. It's because I've had this happen a couple of times with anime where I started the season off saying oh, well, I didn't really care much for this anime. And then later it became one of my favorites.
Yeah, me too.
So now I'm basically at the point where I'm just going to wait for the 3 episodes of a show to come out before I start making videos on anything. And so far that has done me pretty well. In spite of the backlash Lord of Mysteries fans gave me for that video. I'm going to keep poking fun at them because they have been some of the most pretentious people I have run up against in my time.
Go ahead, man.
So let's bring us on to another really good one that I've really enjoyed. The Summer Hikaru Died.
I love this show.
It's great. I just wish they would focus a little bit more heavily on like the supernatural stuff than the weird gay tension between the dead ghost guy and the living best friend.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I have a problem with that. It's just like I prefer the supernatural stuff. That's what really got me into this. Was the first couple of episodes did that like supernatural, like horror ambiance thing very well, and it was very creepy. And the episodes where it actually does focus on like ghosts and spirits and stuff, I enjoy quite a bit. And this one was good because it did do a little bit of that. We have the whole like the fireworks thing, and then of course our girl, the short-haired girl realizing that Hikaru isn't normal and almost gets herself killed and all that. It poses some interesting questions. It's a good story. Like I like it. It's just I wish it would shift its focus a little bit more to one thing than the other.
Yeah. And Bickles is here.
Oh. Crimson Love's boy love. Oh God, I'm not reading the rest of that. Fucking hell, man. Fucking hell. Oh. Close to dropping on Hikaru. I just can't get into the characters. Unlike the MC who goes all in there. See, I've always been like fascinated with some of like the supernatural like anime and stuff. I think a lot of them do some of that stuff pretty good. This one more embraces like the horror stuff, and I really wish it would like very heavily focus on the horror stuff, because when it gets into that kind of stuff, it's really fucking good. And I would argue that this is one of my I can't argue that it's one of my favorites. I'm just gonna say it's one of my favorite intros of the season.
Yeah, I like the intro.
I think it's really fucking groovy, dude.
I like it, man. Yeah.
Like I was at work the other day, just like humming along to myself while I was alone on the job, just to. I got weird looks from the fucking homeowners as they were walking by. I also freaked my dog out because I was walking in the door with my earbuds in, just like listening to that song, and I was kind of like dancing around, and the dog comes around the corner and sees me and just instant zoomy. He's like, "Oh, it's playtime."
Yeah, it's like da-na-na.
Yeah, I think Voundy's a really good one. Is not cool in any anime I've watched. I am fine with being uncultured on that. Just saying. Look, not everything is for everyone. It's like not everyone's gonna like a harem series. Like I like harems. Not everyone's obligated to like harems. I hate love triangles. Some people really love them because they like the drama of it. It comes down to taste, and you shouldn't really be judging someone for their taste in fiction. It's as simple as that. I'm not gonna judge someone for not liking a gay romance. That's fine, okay. Just so long as we're not taking it to the point where we're using it to bludgeon actual people over that. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's Summer Hikaru Died. Good show. Really well animated so far. Call of the Night. This is one where there are two versions of me on this. There is just watched season 1 version of me, and then there is I don't know, episode 4 or 5 of season 2 version of me. Season 1 version didn't care much for the show. Thought it got highly overrated. But I had watched it, so I was going to keep up with the show. Then season 2 got into a lot of good stuff that I actually liked, especially like with the detective and the vampire backstory, all that kind of stuff. I thought it did really, really well in those couple of episodes, and like, oh wow, they actually just did some amazing storytelling here. Got so much better. You a fan of Call of the Night?
Yeah. So, to give you my long story short, didn't really care for it when it first came out. Thought it was very overhyped. Didn't really care. So I watched it, I think, back in like March this year, and surprisingly enjoyed it. I think it was the later half of season 1 that got me actually more interested in the series, and I was like, wow, I like it. Just to see if I was going to watch season 2. So then I watched season 2, and just like you said, I have a version of season 1 like, wow, I like this, but not really much happened, and everything. And now season 2's popping off, and we're exploring romance. We're exploring other characters' backstories. We're exploring like where was this in season 1, man? I feel like it's a whole new world, a whole new show to an extent. I think season 2 is really good. I liked yesterday's episode of the Love Kun guy, and
there's so much there. Like where like you have Love Kun, the otaku. I thought that was great. Of course, we do get a little bit of Midori's stuff going on there, and like her whole romance with this otaku who is like the absolute like opposite of her, like the last person you would expect her to be involved with. The funniest part though, I think, was just Nazuna being like obsessed with like dirty manga or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he drew the whole doujinshi of her, like Love Kun drew the whole doujinshi, and then Nazuna's just like, is it a dirty manga? I want to see the dirty manga. She's just behaving like a teen boy the whole time.
I liked when Ko opened up the magazine or the manga at the end, and he's like, whoa, it's like a manga, man. And then she's like, don't look at that, you're 14.
Yeah, that was there's a lot of good things with this. I think it kind of is slow burn. Like the first part of the series is very, very slow, and then you're introduced to the vampire hunter, and a lot of things change after that point. I think it gets a whole lot better once the vampire hunter becomes a part of it.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people here. So for people with insomnia, it was therapeutic and really hit when it came out. I need to binge season 2. I liked season 1, but I agree that season 2 is more interesting lore-wise. Season 1 just had that relaxed vibe I also enjoy. It's interesting to hear that, because a lot of people were like, from my impression of it, from what people were saying, was that this was like one of the greatest romance anime you would ever watch. And I got into it, I'm like, it's all right. Season 2, though, has really sold me a bunch on it. Like, it's a much better anime in season 2, if you ask me. Next on the list, Ruri Rocks. Have you watched this one, or do I need to blitz through this one really quick?
You can blitz through this one, man.
All right. So, Ruri finds some platinum. We get a deep dive on like volcanic rocks and eruptions and all that, and we learn some things about them. The mantle being made out of gemstones, theoretically, just because of composition and all the nature of it. I've liked this show just for watching Ruri as a character, like going from like this sort of like energetic, very like shiny, obsessed child to someone who is like kind of like actually involved in like proper scientific research. It does a good job of showing like what the field actually entails, like all the work that's involved in it. It gives you a good it gives you good basic information that just about anyone can understand. And of course, if anyone who has listened to me is here, I mean, there's a few of you, there is a couple of nice assets on Nagi Arato that are definitely worth watching the show for that alone. She got them Sydney Sweeney jeans, and yeah, we'll leave it at that. So Ruri Rocks, this is one that I enjoy the hell out of, because I like mineralogy and geology. They're subjects that I enjoy, and they decided to give me hot anime waifu with a dose of tickle my tism sort of information.
Cool.
Okay. Cultural exchange with Game Center Girl. Have you watched any of this one?
Yeah, I love it, man.
I love it specifically for Kendo Girl, and I was really upset when she wasn't in this latest episode.
The college girl, right?
Yes, the college girl.
Yes, that sold the show on me too.
She is best girl. I just the whole thing I loved. Like she comes across as this like really like delicate, like gentle person, and she's like very feminine and all that. And then it comes to the whack-a-mole thing, and all of a sudden she just transforms. And I laughed my ass off when that happened. I'm like, all right,
awesome.
she is best girl. She is absolutely best girl in this series. So yeah, there was that. But in this latest episode, we do meet Lily's father.
Oh yeah,
and
you can't tell me it doesn't remind you. Did you watch My Senpai is Annoying?
I actually have watched and read the manga.
Okay, so do you think the grandpa in that kind of reminds you of the dad in this?
Yeah, well, I was actually gonna go with a more iconic reference. This dude would give Maze Hughes from Full Metal Alchemist a run for his money.
Yeah. I can see that.
I'm not a huge fan of this sort of like weird like age gap thing with like Lily trying to flirt with a college guy. But at the very least, I respect the fact that he is actively like avoiding it. He's like, "Oh no, I don't want to do this. It's gonna put me into some hot water." That's like the one weird element of this show that I think holds it back. But I was really frustrated with this latest episode because he's in all this like hot water with her dad and everything. All he had to do to get out of that was say, "She's my sister's friend who comes by the arcade I work at quite often. I wanted to help her out because my sister is her friend." He would have avoided all of that shit, but no, he didn't say the one thing he needed to say. That's the frustrating part of this latest episode for me.
Yeah. It's weird. I was going to drop this show because that main whole element of the whole middle schooler and college student basically scenario. And then I saw the date episode. I kind of thought it was hilarious, honestly. I was like, this is so entertaining. But it's like really bad, like entertainment. And then the college girl came in the next episode, and I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Like I should not be enjoying this show as much, but I don't think it's the best show. Like, but I find it like garbagely entertaining.
Yeah, as far as what Mango says here, as long as he doesn't flirt with the middle schooler, I shall keep watching. I kind of feel the same. I probably would still continue watching because I do think the show is overall cute. I would just be like a stain on this whole thing of like, okay, this is getting a little into uncomfortable territory, even for me as someone who has defended some very interesting fiction before. It's not something I particularly want to sit here and consume myself. It's one of those things where like I enjoy the show. I think it's cute, and I hope it focuses more on Lily, making friends with the girls in her class. And just kind of steers away from the romance thing because I do not think that whole romance there needs to be a thing. I am 100% on board. Like Kendo Chick is best girl. Kendo Chick is best girl, and she absolutely deserves, to have a guy like Renji in her life.
Absolutely. I hope they like explore that in the next coming episodes.
Confirmed Crimson. Yeah. Imagine that. I don't enjoy that kind of content. Okay. How about we talk about the social credit system superheroes to be Hero X?
No spoilers, please. I've not seen the newest episode.
I won't say anything other than fuck this bum ass Catboy, okay? I fucking hate Little Johnny. I am 100% on Ghostblade's team with everything that he did in the last episode, the one before this, where they're driving in the fucking car together. Fuck that stupid ass Catboy.
That's a Little Johnny episode. You ain't missing nothing. again, my opinions of this show haven't changed since the last time I was on stream reviewing it. I'm happy it's all kind of tying in together, which is great. I've kind of been looking forward to that. It's been all right. I'm still enjoying it. I just I hope that, like, there's a rumor right now that, you know, it's getting a season 2, which will be the tournament arc of kind of who you're rooting for. There's some on the website of Hero X. You could vote for what hero you're rooting for, and I guess the top one might potentially win the tournament, I guess, is what it's looking like. Again, all speculation, rumors, probably not true right now, but who knows? I just hope that it is true, like there is a tournament, and this isn't just oh cool, we just explored all these heroes, which I think is an interesting concept, but like it doesn't really lead to anything, you know.
Here's my opinion on To Be Hero X. I actually haven't, outside of Ghostblade, who I did say I thought had a really good story. I haven't really cared much for the characters other than the very first part of it with Ling Li. I really did like the whole Ling Li thing. I put my theory out. I don't know if it was last week or the week before about where I think the show is going, with how basically the bearded dude who manipulates the new kid into becoming Easel was looking for another enforcer to try and keep all the heroes in line and stuff. And that's why you see Easel show up and kill Moon at the end there. It's weird the way they've done this stuff. It's good to see that it's kind of like turning around and like starting to link everything back together. Yeah. But I feel like, unlike with something like the Apothecary Diaries, where you have like a bunch of like seemingly one-off things that ultimately get tied together, this is one that sort of like leaves you on a cliffhanger with a lot of the stuff that it wants to tie together. And it kind of annoyed me that you would start to like get into a character and then it would jump onto the next. And you would start to get into a character and then it would jump onto the next. I was really upset when it didn't come back around to Ling Ling faster. And at that point, I was just like, okay, like you had a really good character, someone with a very compelling arc, and then you replace that with less interesting characters progressively.
Yeah, I mean, I think the concept and exploring all these character arcs are very interesting. I think it's very unique as a concept, like you're saying in the chat. But here's the thing, like here's the problem with doing that, at least to me, is I enjoyed the first 3 hero arcs, I think. I'd say the first like 8-9 episodes, right? And then I enjoyed Queen's arc too. But when it came to like Wooly, I do like Ghostblade. Little Johnny's arc is a little to me right now. You know, I'm not like in it, you know, like or as invested. But you're just gonna get characters you're gonna like more versus others, which I understand that's what I'm going into. But the problem is that when I know that this specific character is gonna have 3 or 4 episodes, and I don't like them, I'm like kind of sitting through stuff to be like, I can't wait for the next hero, and I hope that they're interesting, you know?
Hold on a second. We have 10 gifted subs from Jeremy Turner, and you know what that means? You get a clip from Uncle from Another World, and those 10 subs, thank you very much, I do appreciate it, went to Rolando Ramirez, Taco Roland, Gorilla Mar, RG Energy, Lethal Lightning, Aragorn Bilbo Man, Joshua Z, Nico. I don't know how to speak Russian, so I don't know what that one is. The Helpers, and one of our mods, the Questioners.
Awesome. Congrats.
Thank you very much. It is very much appreciated. But now back to Be Hero X. As far as the characters go, the Easel thing I enjoyed, but I don't think it was like I don't think it was as good as the Ling Li thing. And the more I look back at it, the more like, I don't know, dark and depressing it got. And I'm just like, I wasn't a huge fan of Easel stuff. Lucky Cyan didn't really care for. The one thing I will never knock this show for is having good animation. I will say the Queen versus Boa fight was fucking phenomenal. Like that was amazing. I always thought Queen had really cool powers. She's basically just Star and Stripe but better. I didn't really care much for her character though.
Yeah.
So if we're just talking about like the concept of the characters, there's a lot of cool ones. I like Queen as a concept. I like Ghostblade, both as a character and as a concept. Ling Li / Nice, he was really cool as well. Little Johnny makes me want to beat my brains out with a sledgehammer. Like I said, fuck that cat boy. I do not like him.
What about Big Johnny?
Fuck him too. Anyway, To Be Hero X is it's an entertaining enough show, but I feel like I would have enjoyed it much more if it had stuck it out with Ling Li and given us a full story about him.
Yeah.
And that would have been much more interesting to me. So as for this latest episode, didn't really care much for it. So Betrothed to My Sister's Ex. I think you said you dropped this one, didn't you?
Yeah, this is all Brittany.
I really like this show. I think it's very good. It's one that was far better than I thought it rightfully had any chance of being. Is it the most amazing one out there? No, I think it's kind of a repeat of some of the like tropes that we have seen in the past. But I don't think by any means that this is a terrible show. It's actually very well animated as well. They had a couple of fight scenes here that were very, very well animated. And I just think it's overall endearing show.
I've been hearing like the maid is like best girl in that, she like screamed at the top of her lungs that one episode if the main dude was under the knight helmet or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Just hate that the title is kind of misleading. It kind of is, and this is true too. The cliffhanger on this latest episode is fucking nuts. Banging my dead sister's fiance.
That's what I was laughing at.
Oh no, Biggles, stop, no. Stupid. But it's just it's a very largely wholesome show because there is some familial abuse on the part of the parents. Fortunately, there is no small squishy squid monster involved in this. But I mean, I like it. I enjoy it. It's very like shoujo. I don't blame people who don't want to watch it because it does rely pretty heavily on some very stereotypical stuff. It's not like I'll sit there and recommend it to like everyone, but I will give it the I think it's very well cared for. It may be a little bit on the fast-paced side, but if it's just a one and done, like one season and done sort of thing, it works out pretty well. You get 12 episodes of a good show with a little bit of good animation and a sword fight between a prince and the duke. God, Biggles, what the fuck are you on about? What the? Shut up. You need to shut your face. Shut your face.
You got the high since he's not on stream.
But yeah, we do get one of the like in this latest episode, we do get like a little like servant girl who is like in trading and everything. So she's like the granddaughter of one of the servants in the castle or whatever, and she's pretty cute. Like just as a character, I like seeing her around because she's a funny character to have. Like stereotypical energetic little kid sort of thing. But Mio, yeah, is kind of she is an excellent wing woman in all of this. She's a real one. So this is one. The Betrothed to My Sister's Ex is a good one. Also, I don't know what you're going with. What the fuck? But I mean, if we're talking about me doing a weird dance, it's a clip that Drunk Me put into a script that I ultimately cut out, but saved it because it was just something that I was like, all right, you know what? Drunk Me is officially banned from editing.
Have you done drunk streams before?
I got hammered on the last Fictionology, and then because I was feeling sick, I took NyQuil after the stream. And I was groggy for the entire next day. Like the whole next day, I was like, like that meme of the Russian dude who's just like,
Yeah.
that was me. That I was,
Oh man.
I was full on out of it. So, moral of the story: do not mix alcohol and sleep meds. It doesn't go very well. Ah, Hero Darky Dark. How you doing? PS5 just crashed. Yeah, this season does have some bangers. Okay, so the next one on the list is Yaiba. Have you watched any of Yaiba?
I have. I'm just not caught up to it. But go ahead, man.
As far as Yaiba goes, the biggest thing I will say about this latest episode is there is some crazy animation in this one, but I feel like the team didn't have the time to fully complete it because there are areas where it feels so crazy. It's almost the quote unquote over animated sort of thing. Have you ever heard that one?
Yeah.
You
mean solo leveling?
No, solo leveling is just underdeveloped story. Animation's fine. Story, it just should have spec'd some points into storytelling. With Yaiba, though, in particular, like I like the story for this one. It's very old school shonen kind of stuff. It's a remake from like the late 80s, early 90s, I think.
Oh yeah. And it's by the Detective Conan author, right?
Possibly. I'm not sure. I don't know who it's by. Either way, I think it's a pretty good anime, at least the remake. It's very well animated. I think the story's pretty good. I like the characters. This latest episode, though, does struggle a bit in terms of like trying to find its place, where it's like, all right, we've done enough brains, words. It struggles to find a place where like its animation is both really well done and coherent, because there are times where like it just gets a little too chaotic for its own good, and maybe the animators were having trouble completing all the work because almost this entire episode is a fucking fight scene.
Wow, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, so there's a lot of combat in this one. And it's all very, very intense. So it's a good, entertaining episode, but there isn't much to the story. It's basically just Yaiba beating the shit out of a dude who transforms into a bear.
Okay. so he's still, is he still find that Oni guy?
Yeah, he's still fighting Onimaru. He had his big confrontation with the dude, and won in a fight, but didn't actually like fully beat the guy. So like he's still out there doing his thing, sending his minions out to try and find Yaiba. Meanwhile, Yaiba is out there collecting more power and stuff to, try and like make sure he is ready to fight. Either way, entertaining shonen anime. How about the Biggle's favorite anime, the craziest, most insane premise of the season? Well, no, because Nukitashi is out there. Night of the Living Cat. Have you watched any of this one?
I think I watched like 5 minutes and gave up.
As far as Night of the Living Cat goes, I'm actually demoting this one to the interesting category because I love it, but it's just like it's one of those shows that survives purely on being absolutely ridiculous all the way through and unashamed of the fact of how ridiculous it is. There's also a Freddie Mercury reference in there. like Freddie Mercury is in the anime. There's like one scene where everyone's like hiding out in a grocery store, and they're like panning to all these people, and it just cuts to this dude with like very like short hair, a mustache, and like a white tank top, and the only thing he says is "Ayo."
Wow.
And then
Okay.
he's only mentioned once in the rest of the series. He only shows up in one other scene.
Wow.
It's just a
Okay.
Freddie Mercury for no reason. But yeah, this is one that is utterly ridiculous. To sum up what happened in the latest episode, though, so we could quickly move on from this, it does feel like it's largely a filler episode. And we get a transition into like the museum that everyone is now based out of. And we are completely lost as to the fate of Allergy Girl. We don't know where she went. All we know is that apparently she saved a bunch of people from being turned into cats. So there's that.
Cool.
There's a Marilyn Monroe reference in the Adventures of Goa's Perfect Ride. I think we're talking about the dress scene, but we'll get to that. Detectives these days are crazy would be the next one on the list. Have you watched this one?
I dropped it.
You dropped it?
Yeah, the comedy just ain't selling it for me anymore.
This is another one that's just fucking stupid. So you didn't see Nipple Man, did you?
No, I don't think so. I dropped it after episode 3.
Well, in the latest episode, Mashiro, the chick, she gets sent out to catch a dude who is running around like being a pervert. He's just like this buff dude who like runs around in nothing but a Speedo and a necktie. And he'll just walk up to people and be like, tell them to like lick one of his nipples or something, and then he'll just like fuck off. Yeah, he'll just like fuck off. So there's like half of the episode. I shouldn't say half. There's a good chunk of this episode where Mashiro is chasing this dude, and he's just walking in the most ridiculous ways. Like there's one point at which he's doing like the whole SpongeBob thing. He's walking on his butt cheeks.
Oh my god.
It's so ridiculous. Of course, we do get like the whole girls' night out thing where they get the blonde girl drunk and try to get her to spill how old she is, but she just won't say it. And then
I'm like skimming through the episode right now to see what the heck you're talking about. Yeah,
I think this show is ridiculous. It's the kind of like insane comedy thing that I enjoy, kind of like with City for me.
Oh
it's
my gosh.
You found it?
They in the sauna?
Oh, the sauna battle? Yeah, that's another thing that happens.
Oh, I don't. Okay. Wait. Is this it? Oh, I think I found it. Oh my gosh. The dude with the mustache?
Yeah.
So what's that guy's deal, man?
I don't know. There's also one. It gets even weirder when she tries to catch him and he slips through like an eel, and she's like, he's lubed himself up. He's like, no, that's body fluid, and then just keeps running. It's. I love this show because it's another one that's just absolutely insane with like all the shit that it does, but like it is by no means like a sane anime to watch.
Yeah, man. Interesting.
That's all he's got to say. Interesting. He's like, why do I hang out around this weirdo?
I'm just looking at it and I'm just like, what am I watching? Like that's kind of what, like, you know, when I hit episode 3, I'm like, dude, what am I watching, man, at this point? Like,
I almost dropped it too, but I continued watching it and I don't regret it because it's been entertaining to me. It's just insane shenanigans.
Yeah, I saw him like lubed like this orange liquid, and then he was like moving around on his hands, like trying to like run away. I was what?
Shy Hero and Assassin Princess. Have you watched any of that one?
Yeah, man, I'm all caught up.
All right, what do you think of it?
If you asked me like 4 weeks ago, I would have told you it's probably my top 3 animes, like original this season. As the series has gone on, it's kind of the same shit, you know. Not that that's bad or anything, at least in my preference, but I'm starting to see why people aren't really enjoying it much anymore. I still like it. I mean, everyone thinks there's only 2 reasons to like the show, and it's Goa's titties, you know.
Everyone overlooks Goa's titties, or overlooks Anemone's titties for Goa's titties, but they're both great.
The girls are getting development, and I do like that about the series. I think that's the next best thing that they could do right now with them still failing their assassination attempts and everything. I still like the show. I'm still going to complete it. I'm just, not as like hyped as I was when it first came out. It's just kind of now like a chill show to watch and laugh at.
It's an entertaining show, and I'm kind of in the same boat where I do enjoy watching it, but it has its shtick. And at some point, like that shtick just sort of like wears out its welcome. It's not as interesting anymore. There's also the other part of it being a little bit anachronistic. Like it's like this fantasy setting, but you're seeing like Anemone has like modern weapons, and they're going to like modern cafes, and like there's modern clothing and everything. And I'm just like, okay, this is kind of taking me out of it, even though it shouldn't.
Yeah.
But in this latest episode, basically we get the heavy lifting quest, and Goa gets her hands on a poor bandit fool who decides to try and steal from them.
Oh, that was funny.
We get the whole fishing thing where Thiel tries to sink the hero to the bottom of the lake. He just doesn't give a shit. And then of course the whole wardrobe thing that happens, and ultimately it just goes back to normal. I was like, okay, what was the point of that?
Well, yeah, exactly. That was my problem with the new episode too. Is like, why did we spend like 12 minutes of them changing outfits, like apparel and clothing, just for them to go back to the same outfits when the priest girl hates her constricted outfit, yet still ends up in the same outfit again? Like, no logical girl would do that.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. But this is one of those shows where I'm just like, all right, it doesn't make sense, whatever. Like, I'm willing to ignore the fact that it doesn't make sense. Also, there's this. Finally, a normal guy. 80% of the comments I read are complaining about fan service. What's wrong with this generation? Yeah, some people are a little ridiculous on that one. I feel like at some point, like, people do kind of like get a little too obsessed with the fan service parts of it. Anime.
Oh, I see what Biggles said. He said a lot of people are slowly giving up on it because they're starting to like him.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's a good show. It's entertaining. I get my laughs out of it. I find it mildly amusing, but I don't think it's super amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's basically my big like point of controversy for the season. The one that got me in hot water with the Lord of Mysteries community, because I said that their anime adaptation was not as good as they hyped it up to be. The anime that did a terrible job of onboarding people into its world and keeping everyone up to date. Have you kept up with this anime? Did you drop it? Are you still watching?
No, I dropped it after episode 4 or 5. I just don't like the show. It's not for me.
I respect that decision, to be entirely honest, because I don't think that this anime anyway, I won't say the novel series because I haven't read it, but I don't think that this is everything that it was hyped up to be. And I mentioned the overhype factor earlier in the stream. I think that's part of why it's suffering. The other part is that they tried to make like this huge battle series out of a much more complicated work, and they have cut a lot of context out of things that probably would have made characters better developed. Like, there are times where like characters do or say or mention things that just don't line up with any sort of previous notion that I had of them. Like, there are things that they'll do that just come out of left field for no reason, and everyone acts like it's completely normal. So while I do enjoy the show, I still watch it. I watch the latest episode. Because I think it has a really good world and like the concept of it is very good. It makes me kind of want to check out the novels just to see where it's going. But I don't think that the anime has done a very good job of portraying where everything has gone, especially because it's kind of having a similar thing to like what I mentioned with Kaiju number 8 earlier. We had a character die in this latest episode.
Oh, okay.
And he's a character that we have known for basically only this episode. He shows up in this episode and then he dies, and it's supposed to be like this big like emotional moment like for one of the characters, because like, oh well, it's his last friend and everything that just died. And I'm just like, I didn't know the guy. In fact, the other guy who's been around has basically been in a cameo role up to this point. I have no attachment to these characters. The only person who I have even remotely cared about things happening to has been Klein Moretti, the main character.
Yeah. I even checked out the dub that like released 3 or 4 weeks ago. And man, I get where everyone's saying like, oh, like I'm interested. I'm just confused. And that's what I mean is, why am I going to watch something that like, what do you mean? It's going to explain it better the farther I get into the series? Like, it should be explaining stuff already is my argument of the show. I don't want to keep watching something that, like, again, I told people I like the Gray Fox scenes. I think they're very interesting. And
one sec. You posted that on Twitter, and my dyslexic ass read "gay frogs," and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, a lot of people said that. A lot of people said that.
It was even worse because I had just gotten done with a rant about the gay frogs in Naruto. I was talking about some stuff in one of my live streams. And that's like the next thing I see, so my brain automatically corrected it to gay frogs.
That's what everyone was saying. They said they saw the gay frogs here. No, I enjoy the fog scenes. Like, even when I watched it back in English dub, I'm like, dude, I love what's going on here. Like, I really am interested in certain parts of Lord of Mysteries. I'm really interested in Klein as a main character and everything. But then, like, the world or other characters and trying to decipher this book and everything, like, I just don't care about it as much. Or, like, I'm just confused about it all. Like,
yeah, the plot ends up feeling, like, incoherent to me. Like, it doesn't have a really good direction. Like, it's just, like, thing happens. And there, like, everyone reacts to thing. And then the next thing happens for almost seemingly no reason. That's how I feel like when I'm watching a show. It's like, where's the connection? Where's the actual, like, storytelling beats? Where are we going with this? It has basically just been supernatural encounter to supernatural encounter to supernatural encounter with no real through line except for one episode that was basically dedicated to telling you, oh, there's a through line.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you love it, you love it. Unless like it gets more talked about more, I mean, maybe I'd give it a try. But I felt like I watched up to the current episode 2 weeks ago when it was at episode 5, and I'm like, dude, I still don't know what's going on. And then checking out the English dub, and I'm like, bro, I still don't understand this, even when it's in my own native language. Like, I saw these tweets. People are like, oh my god, the English dub is out. Everyone's just dyslexic because we understand it now, and it's like, well, I still don't understand, and I watched it both in Chinese and in my own native language. Like,
yeah, it's one of those shows where like being enthralled by a mystery is one thing. That's not what Lord of Mysteries does. It just throws a bunch of information at you and expects you to try and fucking decipher it yourself. Like that's the most logical thing for anyone to do. It's not a good. The anime hasn't been a good storytelling experience for me. All right. So enough shitting on that. How do you feel about New Saga?
Ooh. That's an interesting question to ask me. So, as you know, I was
about to say you were pretty bullish on this one at the beginning of the season.
I was really hyped for this one. I went and explored the mangas. I got some spoilers that I heard about. Everyone was comparing, like a lot of people I knew, whether it was on Twitter, in person, people that read the novels, all that stuff. They're like, dude, this is like gonna be a Mushoku Tensei. Like, this is going to be pretty similar if you like it. And I saw some of the comparisons when I started reading it and started listening to information about it. But no, this has like after watching it, this isn't Mushoku Tensei to me. Like you were saying, it reminds you a lot of the Returner's Magician or whatever from like a couple years ago.
Returner's Magic should be special, yes.
Yes, and I agree with you there. I think what I told I'm trying to remember, did I say I think I said this on a Discord call I was with. I still enjoyed the show. I just think I hyped it up a bit too much. And I do think that the beginning started off extremely, like slow and kind of, bad. But I think the newest episodes, like this week's episode, last week's episode, I think even the episode before that, have been pretty good. I just think the problem is that it was a lot of people that, I interacted with were pretty hyped about it because it's supposed to be doing something different in the fantasy world genre. But I think because of the studio that got it, and I believe because it kept getting delayed and delayed after years and years and years, I think the quality we got right now is, not the best, and it could be better. Not saying it's bad or trash or anything. I think that's why it's lacking, and it's kind of like just a goodish show this series.
I enjoy it. It's like a B tier fantasy, if you ask me. It's one that's got a solid enough story, good pacing, decent animation, likable characters. It's got enough there to make me want to watch it. But I can see where, like, I personally, like, if I were editing or like advising on this story, where I would have made improvements. I feel like there are certain elements to the pacing of this that probably could have been done better. It's certainly, comparing it to something like Mushoku Tensei is certainly like a really bad thing to do because it sets expectations way too high. It has a really good concept, and it's much more. It's not like a completely new one, but it's much more solid than what a Returner's Magic Should Be Special did.
I do think it's also a guilty pleasure for me to show.
I feel like there are certain, like I said, with pacing, there are certain things that should have been spaced out more. Like his reunion with his second lover should have been much later in the series. That's something that should not have come about this early on.
Yes.
You should have given him plenty of time to, be around his two childhood friends.
Yeah.
And you probably could have done those characters much better and cemented that whole relationship. And then you could have brought in his previous lover, and it would have been like, oh, wow, now you actually have a really like huge conflicting thing. You have this girl who you had loved since childhood. And then now you have this woman who, you met after everything and, were really like close to someone who like really meant a lot to you. I mean, and there was also could have been a really good moment. Like they could have done like a much better thing with like this whole Zentos arc, because that would have been much better if they had actually shown a lot more of the backstory between like how those two like fought together, trained together, all of that stuff. If they had demonstrated more of that, I think it would have been a much better confrontation between the two of them. On the production end, with better animation, you also would have had much more like appealing visuals, which would have helped, but isn't necessary.
Yeah. I also like that. I think this was a couple Saturdays ago. You, Biggles, and forgot who else, but I think either you or they said it, and you were saying that it was very interesting that he's in this situation, right, where his childhood friend, they both loved each other. Then she dies, and then, and before he gets time traveled back, basically, to do this all over again and everything, he had a wife, so now redoing this and now having both of them alive currently in the story is a very interesting, dynamic of a love triangle that just doesn't feel like a normal force of like a love triangle, you know? It's very interesting.
Yeah, it is a better rendition of it because it actually sets it up well. But as far as this goes, it doesn't have to be a love triangle. It can still be a harem, you know?
Yeah.
It's a fantasy world. Might as well go with it, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
Embrace the harem ending.
Yep.
Down with the love triangles, embrace the harem ending. New Saga is one that I feel like could have been better. It's got a lot of solid things to it. Its story is good, its concept is good. Like the skeleton of a good story is there, especially like with the latest stuff that has happened. It just needed more material in those areas to actually make it feel like a full-on thing. Because right now, what it feels like is it's just kind of the author of the series being like, all right, well, then this happened. And then this happened. It doesn't have that same level of natural flow that something like Mushoku Tensei does have. Yeah. Like, there's a very, like, natural flow to the way the whole story progresses in Mushoku Tensei, whether you want to say it's slow or not or whatever. It all feels like it's going at the right pace for literally everything, if you ask me. With New Saga, though, I kind of sit here feeling like are they just cramming things in here to try and, you know, get to certain story beats? Or is it just that the author doesn't know how to, like, fully run these out and make them into satisfying experiences?
Yeah. But that is a love triangle and you hate those.
I have to go. I have a good night. Have a good night, you guys. Also, this show isn't bad, but it can do much better. Yes, it's one of those, like, I feel like the Lord of the Mysteries probably would have been better with a better adaptation. But Tencent is largely to blame for that because they put certain restrictions on the studio doing it. With this, I just don't think they had a good director or the source material wasn't as strong as what people made it out to be.
Yeah.
Either way, I honestly wanted this one to be good. It just wasn't as good as what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to start by doing this because I really did like Ugly Mug Epic Fighter this week. Actually, I really liked Ugly Mug Epic Fighter this week. I thought there was a lot of good things that happened in it. Have you watched this one?
Yeah, I love it too, man. Great episode.
Dude, there's so much about this latest episode. I think my favorite part, the one that sticks in my mind, is just like where like what's the handsome guy's name? He's like, all right, you guys all go ahead. I have to go tie my bootlace. And Seika's immediate reaction is to just go like screaming down the hill like she's gonna fucking rush the entire enemy groups, like just like
Seiji.
Ass little run.
Seiji, I think is the guy's name.
Seiji. Yeah. Either way, honestly, I think this is probably been its best episode this entire season. Up to this point, I hadn't really been like a huge fan of it. I thought like its game world was kind of meh. Its concept wasn't really all like super appealing, but the more it's gotten into like this sort of like second lease on life sort of thing, where it's like all these people dealing with like trying to escape their previous lives, to make another Mushoku Tensei comparison yet again. The more I've gotten into it, especially as we've gotten like character backstories and everything, but I really enjoyed the comedy of the hey, what the hell? How you doing, man? How you been? It's not like I didn't see you yesterday, you know? So yeah, the comedy in this episode was good, particularly around like the whole battle. I just liked Seika like going ham this whole time, like charging into battle like a goofball and like sitting there on top of the tower, like poking people with sticks and everything. Yeah, this and the whole thing of the sister Rize, like dying of cringe at her brother's commentary, like the very detailed transformation. It was just such a very like a fun episode. This last one, it made me really, really like this show.
It's so funny. Remember, he goes like, "Yeah, who was that hero that saved us?" Like talking to his sister. Yeah, it was out of something, you know. Yeah, it was I like this show a lot. Again, like the Shy Assassin Princesses show. I think it had a great beginning, and it's been. I think it's been getting better, but I think just probably because of how many episodes have gone by. It's also like my overhype of it. It's also settled in. But I love it. I think it's definitely one of my favorite animes airing this season. And I did not like the purple long hair girl at first until, you know, recently about her abilities and her backstory stuff. And I'm like, awesome. I'm glad you explained it before the series ended. And this should be a completed adaptation, by the way.
Yeah. As far as this goes, so, dude, I am struggling tonight for some reason. Okay, I think I can speak without coughing. I think possibly. Yeah, the whole thing with Aldine, the great hero, Aldine. He has wings. Why is he running? There's just so much good comedy centered around that whole thing. Yeah, with Seika, with the long hair girl, I thought she was funny from the moment it started, but I'd always viewed this as sort of like a gag series. I didn't really give it too much credit, but lately it's been getting more and more interesting, like with the backstories of the characters and like their motivations and everything. It's gone above and beyond what I thought just some throwaway isekai series would be. So
yeah,
it's far better than what I had thought it would be. And this is probably one that if it continues on this trajectory, it'll work its way up into like the very good category in the next week or two. So hopefully tomorrow's episode is good.
Yeah.
And that brings us Ugly Mug Epic Fighter is done. That brings us to City, I guess. That would be the next one on my list. And I'm gonna make this quick because you dropped this one, right?
Yeah, I dropped after I think 3 episodes. I got flamed by one dude, man.
No one in my chat except for me really likes City, so I'm gonna make this quick. I thought this was probably the funniest episode of City yet. It was the most consistently good one. Basically, they stick one of the main characters on the top of a tower, and they subject her to a bunch of challenges she has to overcome if she wants to escape. Otherwise, she has to accept all of their hospitality and the awards she gets just for being a generically nice person. Basically, you have some rich girl who's just like saw her and was like, I want to give that girl an award. So they kidnapped her, stuck her in a tower, and this is where we're at. And she's like trying to fail the challenges so that she gets sent back to the top because she's a broke college girl and she wants the free food. But at every turn, it's not going well for her. I'll leave it at that. I think it's the funniest episode of this one. I respect people who don't enjoy it. I like it. Nichijou was kind of my cup of tea. That's why I have really enjoyed this one.
They should just call it the animation.
See you later, Roland. I will probably see you at some point on another stream, or if not, then I guess the next Fictionology. Okay. Let's talk about everyone's favorite Magic Lolly series, Private Tutor to the Duke's Daughter. If I remember, this is like one of the first ones I saw you say that you were dropping right away. That you
yeah, I'm not a fan of these little girls and this dude that's in these situations. Not just that, but like I found it very boring.
I don't blame you for that. As far as like it doesn't bother me as much as far as like the younger girls hitting on like this adult dude, because I found myself in a similarly awkward situation where I just kind of had to be like, okay, except for it was a very, very like, it was a, I was still younger, but it was kind of weird to have like someone who was much younger than me, like very obviously like doing flirty things in my direction. I was like, I don't like what you're doing. Please leave me alone. I do not want to be involved in any of this shit. So it doesn't bother me as much because I've been through it in real life. But I respect anyone who doesn't want to sit here and watch it because it is kind of a boring show. Outside of one thing, there is one thing that I am watching this show for. And that is they introduced Lydia, who is basically the person that Alan went to school with. And she's like his other half pretty much. And she is very, very, very clearly in love with him. And she's acting like a total Cinderella. She's basically Eris Greyrat in this series. She's like very like harsh and blunt and everything, good with the sword, red hair, total tsundere.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here like I really hope they don't do this thing where like they have literally all of these like 14-year-old girls flirting with him, and there's this bombshell of like a 20-year-old like powerful sorceress sword wielding hottie, and you're not gonna like, and she's very, 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 very like clearly like saying like, I want to be around you all the time. I love you. Please stay with me. I don't want you to leave. You're not allowed to abandon me. Like she's like every sign in the book,
man.
like literally, this is a layup. Just get married to this woman already. It doesn't matter if she's a noble and you're a commoner. Her brother's already taking over the family name, so he's the head of the household and everything. Just get this girl, okay? And if you end up pairing this guy off with one of the younger students, there are 3 of them now, including
my god, no way.
Yeah. Okay, so this chick I've been talking about, like the person that he basically grew up with, who he went to school with, it's her younger sister. So like he basically grew up in their household, so he's very familiar with the younger sister. I'm just sitting here like I really, really hope to God that you go with the correct choice in this one. Otherwise, I will fucking riot. I already rioted. You probably didn't know this, but they did an episode 4.5 for this.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh! The more you talk about this, the more I'm like, I'm glad I didn't watch this.
Like I get some level of entertainment out of this because I just want Lydia to get with Alan. That's all I care about. The prince is a POS. Like fuck him. I just want him. I just want Alan to get with this chick because she is best girl. Like she's sitting there giving you all of the go ahead, and you're just like, yeah, well, you're non-committal. And then meanwhile, you have a bunch of like middle schoolers hitting on you.
Yeah, so it's like Game Center where we want the college girl to be with him, right?
Yes, please, for the love of God. I will fucking riot.
What's up, Ace Condor? Thanks for joining, man.
Kind of an unfortunate spot to join in on, but that's what you get. Okay, we're getting close to the end of this. We only have a couple more. The Water Magician didn't air an episode this week, not that I saw. I don't know if you've watched that one or not, but
I mean, I dropped in and I went back to the dub, and I'm behind on the dub, so that's where I'm at.
I think there's been one really good moment with the Water Magician that I actually really liked, and that was basically the eclipse. I thought that was a really fucking good idea for that, and then everything else has just been kind of like generic fantasy.
Interesting.
Yeah. Sakamoto Days. Have you been watching Sakamoto Days?
Yeah, man. Season 2 is, I mean, I don't know why it's on your okay, but I'm loving it. Like, I think season 2 is better than season 1.
Well, as far as that goes, I was actually going to move it up to the interesting category this week. I've never really been a huge fan of Sakamoto Days. This is one where I just didn't really care for the story. I tried the manga before the anime came out, actually, and I like read like 1 or 2 volumes. I'm like, yeah, not for me. I'm not coming back to this. Anime got announced, fans were hyping it up, and everyone was like freaking out. And then, of course, everyone got let down by animation. The animation for this latest episode, though, was fucking fantastic. I thought they did really good with this whole episode. It was a very fun experience, and that's really the only reason I'm putting it back up to interesting, is because I don't care much for the story, but the animation this time around was pretty good.
So what's funny is that me and my Discord peeps call it Shin Days because Sakamoto's barely in it. At least season 2. I've always kind of been a Sakamoto Days enjoyer. I enjoyed season 1 a lot. I do understand why people that I know have dropped it. Completely understandable. I unfortunately enjoy it. I've been loving this arc. The fight scenes, I know a lot of people compare it to John Wick and stuff like that, but the fight scenes really impressed me. I like that they like just take, stuff like from the shrine and then they'll like, fight with it and stuff like that. Or they'll just take, rubber bands and like slingshot stuff. Like, they take their surroundings and just turn anything into a weapon, and how they fight and everything has always just been very fascinating to me. I think we're in a really good arc right now, at least in my opinion.
I don't hate the series, but it's one of those ones where I'm just like, I'm not as much of a fan of it as everyone else. It was one that like looked to me like it survived mostly on hype moments, and then it lost a lot of its steam when its hype kind of wore out.
Understandable.
Okay. Onmyo Kaiten. So I missed last week's episode, so I'm caught up now. I have watched the latest 2 episodes.
I watched all the dub and kind of dropped it. I thought I was being too harsh on it after watching episode 1 and dropped, and then I watched all the dub episodes out at that point, and it still kind of bored me. So,
okay, so this is one of those ones where like I feel like it genuinely struggles for a while until you get to episode 6, and then everything gets really fucking crazy.
That's really sad.
Yeah, so this is one where like it's got an interesting concept. It's decent enough. It's an okay series up until episode 6, and then there's this massive plot twist in episode 6 that is like, wait, hold on, what the fuck did I just watch?
Tell me the twist.
So basically all the Oni that they're killing are actually people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
And the guy in charge is basically like, sacrificing a bunch of people to
wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Huh.
Yeah, it gets it honestly is kind of like it's a Shonen ReZero effectively, where it's like a battler with like the same concept. The main character, every time he dies, he jumps back in time. It has a good plot twist, but so far it has been very cheesy in comparison. But that one plot twist was pretty good. It does add a level of some depth to the plot that I think it needed. But it's not exactly like I'm super invested in it. There's still some things that just don't make sense. Like, why is everyone constantly taking care of this dude who just falls out of the sky one day and nobody knows him? Nobody knows what he can do. And they're just, going to take him in and feed him and treat him like one of their own just because. Oh, and he breaks into one person's house at one point and they're just like, all right, you know what? Let's sit down and have a meal together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Pretty normal stuff, yeah.
There's also like the techno-futuristic Heian era Japan thing going on. Not a huge fan of that.
It says D-Tier ReZero.
But it's a better show than what I had actually expected it to be at this point. Like otherwise, it's just kind of okay, and I don't blame you for dropping it. It's not like there's anything super amazing about it. It just out of nowhere, it has a really good twist to it. And who knows if it'll even be able to pay off on that in the next episode.
Yeah.
Okay. Winding down to the end here. We've kind of already gone over the Water Magician, so I don't need to talk about that. How have you been watching Watari-kun's garden is about to collapse?
Fuck that. Kyo,
the weird, almost NTR sort of story that was going on with this.
Kyo told me of the cliffhanger on the newest episode, which I hope that's the only girl I've liked. And when I did watch the show, I think I gave it like 2 or 3 episodes, and she was the only one I really cared for. I just if they butcher that, I'm out. Like
I was laying in bed this morning, like watching anime, and I watched that whole thing unfold, and I literally shouted like as loud as I could, "Fuck you!" It got to that. I'm at the point where like, if he turns her down, if he says I don't know, or like it turns her down, she's the only stable one. She's the only good one here. The blonde chick is a fucking psychopath.
Yes.
If he turns her down, I'm dropping this show. I am giving it the fucking boot. Watari-kun's garden goes out the window.
Man,
like drop kicked like that dog from the Anchorman.
So I'll watch the episode Friday, and then I'll tune into the stream on Saturday and see it. See what happens.
Or you can just tune into the stream on Saturday and watch me like either be like, thank God or motherfucker. Yeah. Satsuki is an unstable,
I think
crazy.
He says.
I like blonde girl. She's direct. She got a backstory that'll help her case, I think. No, Satsuki she's just unstable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Marcel here is basically like summing it up. Like he's had this crush on this girl this whole time, and he's been hemming and hawing over it. And then the moment she confesses to him, he's just like, huh? Like I can understand being stun locked, but if I were in his position, when she confessed, I would have run after her and been like, let's go out.
It's literally Couple of Cuckoos, man. He liked that short hair girl, and I'm so glad I dropped that show. And now he's like, I don't know if I like her anymore. Like, dude.
I'm glad I don't watch Couple of Cuckoos either, because holy fuck, everything I've seen about that show has not been good.
Yeah. Cool with my rage aside, from this.
Yeah. All right, and now we get to the greatest category of all. I actually do need to move this down because it's really teetering on being dropped. You probably have terrible taste in women. You're probably the guy who is like, I can fix her, but is arguably worse.
Yeah, man, he likes Chizuru.
Oh God. Like Rent a Girlfriend Chizuru?
Yes.
Like, I don't love him, but I'm gonna lead him on because he'll still pay me Chizuru?
I believe so, yes. All right, well, that explains a lot, right? Just calling my friend out here, man. He's gonna be like, you mother flipper.
Don't worry, we roast people like Marcel all the time. And Biggles. We especially roast Biggles because he likes Kaiju number 8. Okay, so Reborn as a vending machine. Have you watched any of this?
No, I watched 2 episodes of season 1, and I think the one about him selling condoms, and I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, this one is fucking retarded. And it's one that, like, it's an absolute train wreck, and I hate its story, but I can't look away. That's effectively why I'm watching it. It also has really good intros, though. Like, for whatever reason,
I can agree with
really
that,
good intros. But basically, like, the cowboy dude betrays our vending machine in this latest episode. And he decides to go over and be a part of Ainzel Gone's, I'm sorry, the Netherlords team. So now it is basically the cowboy, his wife, and his 2 kids versus the foot priest, a giant anthropomorphic bear, and a living vending machine.
Okay.
It's so that is not even an unrealistic description of what this show is. It is completely unhinged, and I can't look away from it. But with that said, it does bring us to the very last anime of the night, the one that I don't know if I can ever make a review of Nukitashi because there's just so much in here that won't be okay to show on YouTube. Like, what in the... This is the most unhinged, the most insane anime I think I have ever watched. And I've said some things before, like I've watched some weird things. This one is a whole new level of what the fuck. Like, you start the episode out by having the chick stick a dildo in his fucking ass so that he can sneak a thumb drive into the student council president's office. What?
Dude, this show's a huge guilty pleasure for me, man.
It is definitely a guilty pleasure.
Nah, man, this show better than Rent a Girlfriend by a long mile, man.
The reverse Shimonetta showed my friend the first episode, and he was, what the fuck? Yeah, no, it's holy, like, it's not like I would say that this is a good show whatsoever. This show is specific, like same as Reborn as a Vending Machine. It is the level of what the fuck that I just can't look away from.
Yes,
It's so utterly insane. It's so utterly out there that I can't help but just like try and understand what's going to happen next. Like there's so. It is objectively a bad anime, and it is objectively.
You're like, I don't know what I could say. Like,
it is the hentai equivalent of a porn parody. It is the hentai equivalent of a porn parody.
Dude, I don't know what else to say, man. It's such a terrible show, but again, you can't look away from it. It's so like, dude, like dude, they took a sports festival, a normal school sports festival, and turned it into their own weird shit, right? And then you got the main girl and the main dude, you know, just kind of like playing around with each other, you know, and she's moaning over like
I just what? No, like everything is fucking sex jokes too, like athletic competition. Like the main character's motivation for everything is I have a complex about my massive horsepower. What in the hell is that? What in the hell is that motivation? What the hell is even that? It defies
it reminds me of Worlds in Harem, man.
Mangoes. Okay, what the shit anime are we talking about? We're talking about Nukitashi.
I like how the viewer count just skyrocketed when we started talking about it.
Because everyone was tabbed out, so they were still listening. And then all of a sudden we started talking about this, and they're like paying attention now. Like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, you guys are all watching it. We know you are. You know, just trying to be like, nah, I gotta hide myself behind the chat. You know,
this whole anime is it is tastelessly vulgar, if you would ask me. If I'm being professional in my review for the this anime, it is tastelessly vulgar. Its story sucks. Its characters are ridiculous. But I can't help. Damn right, I'm watching it. But I can't help but
you're
watch
watching it too. Yeah.
Like there's no way. I got some other like anime streamers and stuff that I watch to like check out the trailer, and they had very similar reactions. Like, oh, what the fuck,
Dude, Nicholas Light like got 2 minutes into it, and then they like banned his channel.
I wonder why. But yeah, this anime is by no means. It is by no means something that you should watch. And I always have to be very careful. Like, I completely reposition myself when I'm watching this. So, like, my computer is usually here and my door is over here. So anyone can just, like, walk in and, like, see what I'm looking at. So I usually end up turning with my laptop with, like, face towards the door when I'm watching it, just to be sure that I can fucking close my laptop in an emergency should I need to do so. Because there's no way I'm going to be able to explain what I'm watching to anyone in my family.
So
Tangabong, dude's running around like it's fucking Rust in Modern Warfare 2, and he's got Commando Pro and a knife, except for dude's got some fucking dildos up his sleeve.
Dude, it's crazy how much I did not want to watch it or like, even like, give this show a chance, man. And then I'm like, but there's plot. And I'm not talking about that plot, I'm talking about like there's actual story behind this. There's like an actual story that makes sense about this. Yeah, I don't want to, like all these other girls and everything like that. I got to save for the true one and everything like that. We got to take down this society and stuff like that. It's sick, man. It's so cool.
It's I would not say it's cool. It is ridiculous in the same vein as Night of the Living Cat. It is just it is basically this season's gushing over magical girls. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But with that said, that's basically where I am at for anime and everything. And I will, of course, be right back here next week doing the exact same thing. But before that, I may or may not end up streaming Battlefield 6 tomorrow at some point. I don't know. I'm definitely going to try and play the beta because I do want to at least check it out because I like Battlefield. But I've never played a first-person shooter online on a computer, so I may just suck ass. We'll see about that. That said, Arceus, is there anything you want to plug for yourself here before we go?
So I got my own YouTube channel after the same name, given up here. I haven't really been uploading much, but I'll do some YouTube shorts or some live streams every couple quarter for each seasonal shows releasing. So I got a couple of those up there for this year if you guys want to see my opinions on the current anime season or even the last couple and tier list videos as well. And then I also got a Twitter that I'm almost reaching 1,000 followers on. If you go follow me, I'd really appreciate that. I'll talk about any seasonal animes and my thoughts basically on there, quick thoughts. I'll retweet some anime news that people may not be aware about and all that jazz.
All right. Like I said, might be streaming Battlefield tomorrow. Gonna try. I have my video pretty basically all scripted. I have a grab bag of I basically have a grab bag video of like bad anime that I dropped this season, and why I ended up doing it. Wait, you know what? Never ended up actually talking about some of the other, were there any of the ones on the dropped list that you wanted to go over? Because I know like Togenanki was on there. I didn't really care much for that one.
I mean, dude, I could always talk about Togenanki. I'm starting to love the show more and more as it goes on.
Shiki, it basically just turned into like shit Naruto, and Shiki annoyed me. And I was like, at that point, I was like, fuck this. I'm done. But I guess if we're not going to go over any of that stuff, I should have thought about that before hitting the wrap and all that. But yeah, I basically got my grab bag video of all of the quote unquote bad anime that I decided to drop. April Showers Bring May Flowers, Scooped Up by an S-Rank Adventure, Togenanki, and Apocalypse Bringer Vic Mignogna, because I didn't particularly care to try and write entire videos on each of those shows themselves when I could make short synopsises. So I decided that I was going to basically mash them all together and make an anime shish kebab as I roast them all on the same stick.
I mean, if you want me to give my thoughts, it's up to you, man. I know it's getting late, but
I say we're gonna wrap here, and if we get
Sounds
another
good,
chance to
man.
talk about Togenanki, then I guess we'll talk about Togenanki. So that'll be the next big thing that I'm gonna cover. It was a better idea to me rather than just cover 4 anime in a row that I had dropped that I didn't like, and that way I get to talk a little bit more about the things that I actually care about. So with that said, I hope everyone has a good night. Thank you all for being here, each and every one of you, especially to those of you who spent money on the stream. I really appreciate the monetary support. It means a lot to me that a lot of people would, tune in and, listen to my opinions on all this stuff. It means a lot. Time to play us out. What's your name? Liam? Or was it Liam or Leon? I forget. I think it's Liam. We'll play us out with Liam this time.
理想的な柔らかさ、俺の美意識に間違いはなかった。
何をなさっておいでですか。
検品だ、検品。